Hey, what is up, everybody? Um, Audio looks a little off. There we go. So we got traveling through in here, which is cool because I just got back from West Virginia and I just watched his video about riding in West Virginia, even though he's much farther on his journey by now. I think at the end of the video, or where did I just see? Are you already in Colorado? Summit Perry is in here. Hey, what's up, Dylan? Dylan's in here. Rick is in here. Hey, Keith, how's it going? He said, welcome back. Yeah, I got back today, I think a little after 4 o'clock. Hey, what's up, Rich? Good call. Nice to see you. JMZ's in here. Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. So, traveling through, I'm looking forward to your next video because you mentioned the Greenbrier Trail, and we just got back from riding the North Bend Rail Trail. And Kenny, the guy who arranged that trip, was saying next year we should do the Greenbrier Trail. And so traveling through was saying it's West Virginia's longest trail. It's really great conditions like the Gap Trail, Great Allegheny Passage, and there's campsites along the way. So yeah, that would be what we would be thinking of doing end to end. How we did the North Bend was starting in the middle, going out one way, coming back, and then, well, I'll get to what ended up happening with us yesterday. Nothing. The trip didn't go quite as planned, but that doesn't mean it was a bad thing. Had a great group of guys, and we had a lot of fun. And a couple little incidents that are worth mentioning that'll be fun to talk about, but or I don't know if fun's the right word. There were some incidents, but a good time nonetheless. So yeah, I was checking out. Hey, what's up, Grand Subject? Pudgy posted a photo of what he's sipping on. I don't know if he's popped in yet. He hasn't said hello yet. There's Roger. Hey, what's up, Roger? So Pudgy was drinking a Stone, which I haven't seen this hazy double yet. FML, Fear Movie Lions, nice. And then JMZ was drinking a Hazio from Dogfish Head, nice. I was actually looked at that one tonight when I walked across the street to grab some beers. I ended up going with a Flying Dog instead. They're Tropical Bitch, which they do a Belgian IPA, and then this is the version that has some fruit in it. It's pretty good. I like Belgian IPAs a lot. You don't see them as they were kind of popular for a little while. Now I don't see them as much. And I don't see anything because I'm not in focus. There we go. Oh, Pudgy's here. Did I say what's up to Keith? Oh, look at that foam mustache. So traveling through did the Greenbrier Rail Trail and the West Fork Trail. West Virginia has a lot to offer, but he said Greenbrier is where it's at. Cool. So that's something I'll look forward to. I will want to go back and do the North Bend Trail again because we didn't end up seeing it all without getting ahead of myself. But yeah, like I said, Kenny, who organized the trip, mentioned that that's the one we should totally do next. So Roger, oh, Roger's also drinking a Flying Dog today, the Bloodline Blood Orange Ale. I've had that one too. That's another good one. Rick has a Spire and a cat. I don't. Yeah, let us know what your Spire is. Hey, what's up, Jay Dandy? Yeah, this is tasty. So, anyways, I was thinking I'd still answer questions and we could still chat, but I'd talk obviously about the trip. I did get through editing some of the photos, so figured that makes the most sense, obviously. And then I was thinking, Thursday, get back into everybody else's bike photos and looking up more, you know, bike pics and bike brands and all the stuff we always do. But yeah, LarrgeMarge says he's drinking water tonight, which makes sense because we drank a lot of beers on the trip. especially yesterday, just being that we were chilling earlier than we intended to be. So, what do you do when you're hanging out with all your friends with just a fire at a campsite? You know, well, I don't know what that's what we do. So, Rick said that was a pear cider. So, anyways, as mentioned, I left here on Saturday morning. I rolled out of here at hey, what's up, LeBron? I left here at 6:10 a.m. and I walked outside. Everything was really, really frosty. It was a cold morning, definitely a freeze, and I was riding down just the towpath to Fort Lawrence, which is just right there by Bolivar, a little town called Bolivar, and I had a photo shoot down there. So let's see. Yeah, this is me when I got down to the photo shoot. 50 miles, 50-mile ride. I got there about half an hour early, which is my intention. I left with the a half-hour window built in because it was a photo gig. So if I got a flat tire or something went wrong, I needed to have that little window to be there early. Plus the usual scoping it out. Yeah, when I got down there, I was slamming my little fig and peanut mix. So how do I set up a window thing to show here, which would be this. Yeah, so this is what I was doing. People were doing what's called a road rally. So they basically were riding and stopping at a bunch of points. Like, so the Canalway there's also a scenic byway. So there's the towpath trail, which is the bike path that goes right along the canal. But then there's a system of roads or whatever, a route that roughly mirrors it. So as another kind of way to raise money for the Ohio and Erie Canalway Coalition, they did this thing where people went and you answered questions to prove you've been everywhere, and there was lunch. And then at this stop, you had a professional photographer take your photo, which was me. So basically, it was stuff like this for a couple hours. Some people had really cool cars. Some people had more normal cars. And then I rode 18 miles over to meet Erin at a spot she had found to camp at, which turned out to be absolutely beautiful, corner of a farm field outside Dundee, Ohio, which was not even a town. It was like a crossroads with one tiny little store. But the place she found was awesome. And yes, it was all that 18 miles that I rode was harder than the whole 50 down the towpath because it was hilly and it was windy, and I'd already, had 50 miles in my legs, but it was kind of nuts. So, yeah. Oh, I see. I'll go to Joe's question here. Joe said I've mentioned the Gap Trail. I haven't done the CNO. The guy we're talking to traveling through has a video just from like 3 video back. If you want to drop a link to your YouTube channel, go for it, traveling through. But he rode a big chunk of the CNO. When I did the Gap Trail, it was me and my girlfriend, and it was her first trip on a bike, and we just had Airbnbs. Great. The surface is great. It's just like, it's all smooth. I was on 38, she was on 32 millimeter tires, totally fine. I always hear, like Pudgy says here, the CNO is more backpacking style. That's what I always hear from people, that the surfaces are not quite as smooth. So, yeah. Oh, and Jay Dandy was asking if there's any detours on the towpath, and there actually is. In Massillon, there's a huge dam you ride along forever, and that is closed. And when I got down there, I was kind of freaked out, like, how long is it going to take me to go along around? And there was no mark, there was no signage. It just right past, if you're familiar with the towpath, Ernie's Bike Shop, it was just blocked off. But I just went to the nearest street, crossed over a freeway, and then it went right into downtown Massillon. And having been in downtown Massillon before, I've come in from the other side, the southern side of the towpath. So I had no trouble. It didn't actually even really cost me more than maybe 3 or 4 minutes, a couple traffic lights, and then maybe riding, not quite as fast. But yeah, not a big deal. They've been, and then Pudgy here is now on the back to the CNO, the Paw Paw Tunnel. they've been working on it's stabilizing the entrance to the Paw Paw Tunnel on the east side. Um, yeah, I was just reading about it because I can't even remember why. I looked up the tunnel. Where is my? Let me find something here. Yeah, so after my photo shoot, I actually in Bolivar went to a brewery for lunch before I did my ride. It was Lockport Brewing, which now I've been there 3 times, twice with Large Marge, and once with Erin, and then this time on my own, which was it's great, great. The beer was really good, so yeah. So this is the spot that we stayed in outside Dundee, and you can see how cool it is. And this sits way up. It's not even the highest point, but it just has this great view and just a cool little. We found this on hipcamp.com. If you've never used hipcamp, it's a great way to plan trips because, you know, there's stuff that could be off the beaten path and get you somewhere where you've never been before. And sometimes it could just be like literally the corner of a farm field where you're allowed to throw up a tent. This spot, they'd actually built this really cool lean-to to sleep in. This gives you a little bit of better view of it. This is the bag I rode with on all my rides. So the cool thing too is Erin had all my actual camping gear in her car since she was going to be meeting us later. And then when Large Marge got off work at 5:30, he rode down that evening and met us here. So this is when Erin got here, and this gives you a cool view of what that little shelter is like. Obviously, we didn't even set up tents; we just rolled out the bags in there, um, as you can see. Solar powered little like lights. Just a cool shot of my bike. And they had the wood sitting out there for us to use. It was included in the price. Yeah, just a really cool. This is such a cool idea. There was actually even a little like outhouse back behind there too that you could use. You know, where they had classic style outhouse, hole in the ground. You know, but nice to have. Yeah, and this is where Aaron parked her. So you know, you park your car up there, but then that lean-to is down below. I really like Trillium for some reason. So yeah, this is looking from the back of the lean-to. It's just a lot of little woodland flowers. Really cool because it's all farm country, hilly farm country. But this little corner of their field was perfect, and you could imagine um, in the summer how it would become even like more green right around you and everything like that. So yeah, Aaron does have a cool shirt. Oh yeah, Large Marge was answering Keith's question. It was I had from Bolivar on the towpath. I had an 18-mile ride to get to this campsite. Large Marge, coming the most direct route possible, broke off the towpath earlier, and so it was I think 50 miles from downtown Akron for him. The way I came, it was 68 miles, but that's going farther south on the towpath. Um, But yeah, this was the other hit of the trip. My friend Brad, if you look behind Aaron, and even what we were sitting in the photo before, was there a clear shot of it? Sorry. This gray thing back here is this inflatable couch, um, but it's inflatable in a really cool way. So what you do is you just run with it. Here, let me go to full screen real quick. You basically run with it and it has 2 air pockets, and it kind of just it looks like it's not very full. You know, it just looks like it's loosely full. But then what you do is you roll up the end, which gives it all the pressure, and you buckle it, and then it makes like this awesome couch. And they even kind of like built in, let me pull back up here, whoops, wrong one, like even like a kind of like a pillow there portion. But then me and Aaron realized you could sit on it like a couch side by side too. And it's just one of these great little, I mean, maybe everyone knows about these and just I didn't, but yeah, My friend Brad brought his on Ohio to Erie. We met him in Columbus, Flavortown Brad, and then he brought it south, and he was laying on it by the fires, and just like I don't think I would bring it bike packing because it does still take up a little too much space and weight for like a long trip, but for like an overnighter, I definitely would. And plus, like I mentioned with this trip, Erin met me here, so it was in her car. But yeah, really comfortable. Everybody enjoyed like hanging out on it. I was really so this is I love this photo. I think this is a super cool photo, but a bummer is you could see how high we are. So I was so excited for the sunset. Everything clouded up for like the 15 minutes where the sun would have been dropping below the horizon. So I didn't I I'm picturing like lining up one of these lights with the big bright sun like right on the horizon. None of that. But then it cleared up enough so right after sunset like there was some cool photos to take. I took a ton. These are just the ones I've edited already. But you could tell how high we are to get those like great big sky like photos. So this is actually already pretty dark. The photo's making it look brighter than it was, but yeah. Joe was saying there's a nice hip camp spot in Peninsula, less than a mile off the towpath trail. Oh, Heritage Farms. Oh, I do know about that, Joe. Yeah. No, it's Keith saying those huts are very similar to the one. Oh, at Heritage Farm. A couple of you guys said Heritage Farms. Yeah, see, one of the things, Heritage Farms is just a little too close for me. So, like, that's only 13 miles from here. I mean, it could, not that I wouldn't do it, but, in general, even when, LarrgeMarge, he works till 5:30, like I'd mentioned. We still try to get a little bit farther, especially in the summer when you have the daylight. So there's, even not this rail trail, Big Bend down in Summit Metro Parks. Some of my friends stay there sometimes, but it's just for me, it's like if I'm that close to home, I'm gonna sleep in my bed. So, but I do like that idea of the lean-tos, and I mean, but that's kind of what we call them, like a lean-to, even though those aren't technically a lean-to. Um, see if I missed anyone. Oh, Dylan said the same method is used for inflating a lot of sleeping pads. Yeah, mine's a little like the one I used on this trip, and that's why I still need a bike packing one. But I didn't. I was able to use my car camping one. Like I also brought my like car camping tent and everything. I'm like, why limit myself to my backpacking tent when all the stuff was going to be in Erin's car? So Rick asked if they make a reflatable recliner. This basically is like it, because you could sit in it any way you would almost sit in a couch. So, hey, what's up, Malk? Just use your inflatable girlfriend. Oh, man. Yeah, just some fire picks, the kind of stuff you do when you're just hanging out. Yeah, so then this is so we left what Large Marge might remember, I think maybe around 8 o'clock. We had 2 hours from so Dundee, Ohio, where we camped with I think Erin said was about an hour drive for her. And then it was a couple more hours drive to the let's see. Do I have that? Do I have a picture of that? Oh yeah, chilling in this recliner. That's just my iCloud thing, so it shows the photos that I had in my yeah. You could tell I'm a little tired, obviously. There we go. Yeah. Oh, Pudgy, we'll get to that question because Joe was asking anyone have any other ideas for overnighters around Cleveland, Akron on bike trails? Yes, there's one we really like called River's Edge Campground. It's right outside of Massillon that I actually passed on this trip. That's a great spot from me here In Cuyahoga Falls, it's 35 miles. I think from downtown Akron, about 30 miles. So that's straight down the towpath and a really cool campsite that overlooks the Tuscarawas River. It's got some benches and stuff like that. And then if you need to run into Massillon, that's just a few miles to get any supplies you might need or go to, there's a really good brewery there too if you want to grab a crowler. So that's a good 35-mile trip. We've gone out to Medina. We found some hip camps out that way and stuff like that. So yeah, we all met up. We took our time we set up camp before we went riding and all that stuff. And there'll be more footage when I actually put out the video. You know, I only had my nicer camera with me because of the photo shoot, and I took some photos, but I was mostly, you know, especially when you're riding, focused on, you know, just using the GoPro and the easier stuff. But these are a couple that I did pull it out. I was surprised by the terrain. So here, this is about the nicest part of the trail, and there were long sections of trail that were nice like this. Like, you know, this here, it's just kind of dirt. But there are other parts, and I saw LarrgeMarge actually posted a photo that I should pull up because it gives you an idea. Like, you need a gravel bike to ride this. It's not hilly. It's flat. It's curvy, but there is some like serious I mean, there's some like rough patches in gravel where they've, just to cover puddles, have, let me get that up there because I saw Large did post a pretty good photo that shows you what it looks like. So here you can see this is not something that you would be riding on a road bike. So that's Erin and me in front of her. But as you can see, there would be, especially at the beginning of our first day from, what was the name of the campground? It's pretty much right in the center of the trail. There was a number of sections like this where it was tiring. So we did 70 miles the first day. It easily would have equaled a road century of all the effort you're putting into riding some stuff like this. And it's not bad. I actually kind of enjoyed it. You know, I'll take that. But it's just something to note if you ever want to do this. This is gravel bike material for sure. Like yeah, a road bike would make for a miserable day and probably some flat tires. You could do it on skinnier tires. It just wouldn't be recommended. JMZ was saying, can't wait to start bike packing. Can't find a tent that you like for under $300. It's hard to spend less than $300 on a bike packing tent. And I would say don't. Just wait till you can get the one. Save till you can afford the good one, because the weight and the size, they're expensive to use that light material. They're expensive, and it's worth spending that money. Yeah, like the tent that I was using on this trip, because I didn't need to carry it, there's not a chance that I would try and put that on my bike anymore. But yeah, that gives you an idea of what the terrain can get like. And then to Pudgy's question about Funny Brad's tattoo. He didn't give it away. He censored it. So hey, what's up, Broadford? Malk, I was running 42s. That's the maximum my bike fits. And I think I probably had about the skinniest tires out of everybody. Kenny, who planned the trip, he was on a 42 and a 38. He had two different sizes, but yeah, it's getting bounced around for sure. Yeah, see, the surfaces change a lot too, because you saw we had kind of like that dirt, kind of that thicker stuff. Then here is more like cinders. But even this kind of stuff, like that you would be okay on a road bike, is much more comfortable with bigger tires. LarrgeMarge doesn't give it up easy. Yeah, so Malk should definitely bring his bear claw. Yeah, this is our buddy Zach. I don't know if I've talked about him too much in the streams, because I don't think I've just started riding. Oh yeah, he was in the he's who I rode with all the way down to Maslin actually a couple weeks ago. So, and then there's Kenny, who's the one. Kenny is who was one of the owner of Missing Falls Brewery, and he's the one who often stops over on his way home because he lives here in Cuyahoga Falls and drops me off a crawler. So, and this is his newish bike. This is his newer Space Horse. It's less than, I would think, just a few months old. It's built up really nice. He's got some Chris King components on there, the hubs, the headset. I think he's running Cannonballs, which is what I was just running. That's me. And again, I love the, did the double GoPro. So had the one GoPro mounted on the stem. So when we were in that like rougher stuff, I'm able to just hit record, which is nice. But then I still, well, the day I was wearing my camera bag, I just have the other GoPro hooked up around the strap and that mouth one so I could pan around and get some shots. Yeah, the tunnels are just so cool. That's what the highlight of this trail is. That's why you ride it. This is one of more of your classic rail tunnels, which is all finished in concrete. I'll show you some that were different. So there's Otis from Dirty River Bicycle Works, the owner. Me and Erin, we stopped in this tunnel to have a beer. I have some photos of that when I get back to my photos. And I didn't finish mine in time, so I'm holding it. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, you could see it was kind of cool that it was spring because it was green enough and there were a lot of wildflowers along the trail, but you could still see like into the, creeks and stuff like that because this is West Virginia and it's flat. So this rail trail is it was in the end it was the B&O, but it's pre-Civil War, so this is an old rail trail, or an old, right of way. Some shots in the back there. That's our friend Bob Darrow, which we just found out his initials are RAD, so now we're calling him Rad Darrow. Yeah, so Zach, Erin, and Ben with the beer can in his mouth. So these, as you can see that like gate there, that's how they keep vehicles out, but they're like, so you really do have to go around and like watch for which side might be better or worse. We were talking about how they haven't figured out putting the pole in the center thing in West Virginia, but then we were also thinking it's West Virginia and there's probably a lot of people with four-wheelers and snowmobiles and stuff like that that would go out on these trails if you didn't make a more robust way of stopping them. That's at least what our theory was. So LarrgeMarge. Tunnel beer is a good choice. Hey, what's up, Happy Trails? Hey. So we had dinner, and I didn't take any photos there. It actually wasn't a very photogenic spot, but at a brewery in Parkersburg. The trail ends, I guess, maybe 3 or 4 miles before Parkersburg, and then you have to ride some roads which aren't the best. A couple parts of it were okay, and then once you got into town it was okay, but we had to ride on the shoulders of a couple roads that I would say maybe not everybody would be comfortable with, but there's no other option. That's the only way to get into the town. So we went to a brewery in that town, had dinner. Beer and food were good, not a ton of selections. Kind of a really old school brewery, like or they have an IPA, they have a stout, they have a wheat, one of each style. There was no hazy, but everything was good and the food was good, and yeah, so it was a good place to stop. And on the way back, Kenny has one of his tires that's already been plugged like 3 times, and it started to spew sealant a little bit. It didn't go flat, or as I said to Zach, Kenny didn't get a puncture, as the British say, but Otis fixed it up and had no problems the rest of the trip. So, Erin said it was, hey, what's up, Erin? Erin said it was about 5 miles to the brewery from the end of the trail. And there was a couple good hills. Right when we broke off the trail, there was a pretty steep Pretty steep hill. So, oh, Rick said he's not seeing a lot of gear on these bikes. No, because we camped in the center of the trail, so we didn't have to haul our gear. Each day was out and back, so we had a central campground. So the trail's 72 miles. The first day we did 70, but it was 35 miles into Parkersburg, and then 35 miles. Well, obviously, same distance back to the campground. So yeah, just some pictures of them fixing it. Um, Erin was uh, Aaron and Otis were riding a little farther back, so we got to this little picnic table, and I decided to stop and have a beer and let them catch up. And then we all ended up congregating, and we just kind of sat at this table and got a nice little break and had a beer and chilled out. There's Aaron. I won't leave that up long. She won't be happy about that. Lots of beer, no gear. Yeah, we actually stopped after at the brewery. We were hoping they would have growlers, and they didn't. Like I said, it was old school. She was like, "I can do growler fills," and no one wants to put a glass growler on your bike. You know what I mean? So we actually stopped at a gas station that we were really surprised had craft beer. So we all grabbed a few beers for the ride back, and then this is one of the spots we had them. That's my bike. So yeah, I'm just running the Zeitgeist on the front, and that was mostly for. This day was 80 degrees, and it actually didn't drop, so we didn't need a lot of clothes, but I still brought some extra stuff and some snacks. 70-mile day. The frame bag has my toolkit, my pump. Yeah. So, oh, and I was also riding with my drone and stuff like that, which I never used because it was super windy. And it turns out I thought I would ride off the front, send the drone up, and get some cool photos. From my 68-mile day the day before, I did not feel like going full gas off the front to get ahead like I thought I would. So, you know, that's how it goes. Oh, this is a shot that Otis wanted because it's a Yeti riding, whatever this brewery was, it's a Yeti riding a bicycle. And so then we got, if you look at the sticker on his down tube, it's also that his logo is a, Bigfoot Yeti riding a bicycle. So it's kind of cool. It was a really good selection. So Smokey just joined us, Aaron. What's up with the tape? Oh, it's coming loose. Yeah, my bar tape, if that's what you're asking about. I need to rewrap those bars. Um, Not sure why I had a problem with it. I usually don't, but sounds like a bender with bikes as a transport. It was, and it only gets worse, actually, Dylan. That was Dylan's comment. But so this is a tunnel. We stopped for a tunnel beer just because it was cool. I believe, this is the one that's supposed to be haunted. There's a woman in white in here, so we figured might as well have a beer in the haunted tunnel. Malk asked if I ran both Swift bags. No, I only brought the one because, like I said, I just didn't need that much stuff. William said, "How do I like that Kali helmet?" I like it a lot. I love it because it has the integrated head or the tail light up there because I used to strap one on the top of my helmet, especially for winter riding anyways. It's comfortable. It's very small, though, so I don't know if they make different sizes. It wouldn't fit someone with a big head because I'll max it out with like a warm hat on. So, yeah. But I like it a lot. Actually, Otis at Dirty River gave it to me to test out because it was I think a demo one they sent into the shop. So just some messing around with my DSLR in the dark, with the opening. This is Otis's bike. Which one? I actually can't remember which one this Otis's bike is. You guys would probably know better than me. Yeah, he rode with four water bottles because there's not a lot out there, man. You are a human woman in white traveling through. Exactly. Hey, what's up, Rusty? Yeah, so here's Otis, and then Rad Darrow. That's LarrgeMarge in the background. The tunnel is full of graffiti. We were kind of walking around with our headlights, checking it all out. That's funny, Brad, there. What's going on? Why can't I go to the next photo? Oh yeah, that's the war road. Keith's got my back. Well, anyways, I don't need the photos up to tell this story because there's a reason there's no photos from the uh, rest of the night because it got a little weird. So we leave this tunnel and we're riding down the towpath, and me and Large Marge and Erin are riding, like kind of like Large Marge, me right behind Erin, kind of making the other part of the triangle. All of a sudden, uh, Erin just goes down, like right over the bars and down. Um, I thought her basket or something had gone into the spokes. That's what it looked like. It was just like her bike came to a complete stop and she was on the ground. I hit my brakes probably hard enough to skid. Um, Large Marge put down his bike, looked at us, said something, and then he was like, I'm going to go get the other guys. So he rode off to yell at everyone to stop. I walked over to Erin, and I probably just, like I said, well, as Erin just joked, got a little weird. We were a little weird. We didn't know it just happened so fast. Oh, yeah, that's right. Keith bought Otis's Cutthroat. That's right. Um, but yeah, so she's sitting there on the ground, like starting to assess everything. And then we look down at her hand, and her pinky is sticking out this way. Um, and I'm a total wimp when it comes to health stuff. There's nothing I can do about it. I've talked about this on the show before, like, you know, shots, the vaccine, like when they had you sit there for 15 minutes, I'm someone like, I might pass out, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, but when this happens to your girlfriend, it's like you or any friend, but it's my girlfriend. You go into full, like, I need to project confidence. What do we need to do? And, she looks down at it and she's like, she starts asking me, I believe if any of this was her fault, and we don't even know what happened yet. And then we see there's a wire sticking out of the ground, like almost, I would say, coat hanger. Like, think of a wire like a coat hanger, and it's firm on both ends. And we didn't know it for sure what happened, but now she was telling me on the phone earlier today that her foot is very, very is totally bruised across the top, like her whole foot. So we believe she caught the pedal, and that must have just yanked her bars, and then she just went right down, like set riding from 12 miles an hour to a complete stop is what I would guess. So the other guys come back, Kenny and I can't remember, maybe Brad. We're like, or maybe Ryan Hugh. We're gonna ride off and try and find something, but this is the middle of nowhere. Like, you're on this rail trail, and then it's up hills both sides, and it's just, I mean, there's houses here and there, but there's nothing out here. You're just out there. And so they come back, but I looked, and when I realized her finger wasn't broken, it was dislocated. You could see in the skin the knuckle. Like, yeah, it was bad. Like, you could just, I mean, like I said, you could see her knuckle and you could see the finger going off. And I looked at her and I was like, it's dislocated. At some point I said this, like I said, it's all bad, and I'm like, we just need to put this back in place. And I touched it and she's just said, ow. And then I also freaked out because, like I said, that's not my skill set at all to be able to deal with something like this. But when Kenny got back, I don't know why I instantly just thought of that he's the guy to do this. He's been in the military. He's a hunter. Something, I guess, combined in my mind that, like, this is the toughest guy in the group. And I'm like, I think it's just dislocated, and I think you just need to put it back in place. So Erin and Kenny start talking about it, and he's like, I'll do it. And he's like, he's like, what if you pass out? She's like, well, if I pass out, I'll wake back up. So I couldn't even be near this. So while we were waiting for everything to happen, I'm holding Erin's hand, like, so I grabbed her Advil right away. I knew I had Advil on my bike, so before she even stood back up, I like grabbed some Advil. I was like, take these right now. So, but yeah, so when they went to do this, so I think Large Marge, and Funny Brad were like holding Erin, and they sat down, and I walked off like 100 yards away. I didn't want to be anywhere near this happening. I do not have it in. I just don't have it in me. But they put it back in place, and like Erin says, she doesn't even know if it hurt because she was probably still in shock. But yeah, Kenny Kenny put it back in place for her, and you know, it's like even today, it's obviously still like bruised up and looks bad, but it's like that's just the thing you got to do, and you just have to have someone who is willing to do it. He's never done it before, he said, but what did Keith makes a big popping sound? Yeah, I think they said they heard it. Well, Rick, it's so funny because everyone's joking about how well I did. You know, Tim, you did really good. 'Cause so our friend Ryan, he busted out one of his he had like a 10% Who Farted beer, and he cracked it open and put it on the rock. He was like, "Hey, you know, if you need any of this," and he's looking at Erin, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I do," you know, like instantly. So everything, you know, turned out okay. I mean, we rode back fine. We had a couple beer, or maybe a beer or two at the fire. It started up a fire, had a beer or two, and then it started raining. We actually pretty much all went to bed, and it rained the entire night. I mean, I don't think it stopped. We got up a little after 8 when it finally stopped raining. A great thing though was Otis had brought his, and I don't think I took any photos of it, but I do have. It will be in the video. But Otis brought like a big Cannondale. What do you call those? Tent, like they have at farmers markets. I mean, tent's still the word, but is there a specific thing for those? I don't know. But it was great. So we put it over one of the picnic tables. So even when we got back, we were still able to hang out a little longer. And then in the morning, we're making our coffee, and the table and everything was dry. So yeah, we got up, had our coffee, and then we started looking at the weather, and there were just all kinds of thunderstorm cells that were going to be coming through. But Kenny knew of a really good restaurant that was in Pennsboro, Canopy. That's right, Pudgy, Canopy. And Otis said that was the last thing he threw in the car. He thought of that at the end, like, why not? But yeah, it was a great thing to have. But so, yeah, about like 10 miles, I think a little more, away in Pennsboro was a breakfast spot. And we looked and we're like, we have a little bit of a gap. So we're like, let's go to breakfast. And you know what? Hopefully it looks like we can get there before it rains. And then we'll assess the situation and decide if we want to go on. Most likely not, but at least we'll get like a 20-mile ride in. But it was kind of, so we did, and that part of the route was actually, I kind of felt like, let me get some of these more photos up here. Let's see, where am I at? There we go. This is when we were chilling at that picnic table. Whoops, but before Erin crashed the night before. Ben and Funny Brad. So yeah, we went inflatable girlfriend. So yeah, got up, had breakfast. This diner turned out to be really, really good. Kind of funny. We walk in, and there's a guy who looks like pretty much about as typical West Virginia as can be. Slightly overweight, gray beard, wearing a hat that says, "If I die, don't let me vote Democrat," or something along these lines. And so we all sit down, and he says, he's like, "You boys can take off those masks. You're in West Virginia now." And I'm so proud of Zach, because I guess Zach looked directly at him and goes, "Oh, we can? Thanks a lot." But everybody else who walked into the restaurant after us also had masks on. And then 2 police officers walked in with masks on. Our waitress were wearing masks. A sheriff walked in with his mask on. And I was like, you know what? Maybe the West Virginia you believe you're a part of is not actually what your life is like. So anyways, it was just kind of funny. But it was one of these little diners that go one of two ways. Like it's going to be crappy, cheap food. This food was cheap and delicious. Like we all got some, almost all of us got something different from biscuits and gravy to Reuben's to I think Erin had a what chip steak sandwich and yeah, everything was awesome. You know, just coffee and food and exactly what we wanted. We took a couple photos around town, then we started to ride back. And so this photo, right when it started to pour rain, we came up to this great brand new picnic shelter. So we're like, well, pull off and have a beer, you know. So, but one of the things was, you know, we brought beers because we thinking there's a couple tunnels and they were really cool ones. We're like, oh, if it's pouring, like one of these thunderstorms comes through, but the rain eased up and it looked like the main cell ended up going like just either I can't remember now north or south of us. So yeah, we ended up riding on thinking it was going to be and pretty much it turned out nothing ever really hit hard, but we still wanted to stop in this tunnel. This is the one we were looking at last week that I found some photos of, but it's not like they haven't like finished it in any way. It's just like chipped through exposed rock and it's so cool. And at either end, the one end there was like a pool with all these tadpoles in, and we must have hung out here for an hour. So this is like ended a lot of big part of how we spent our day. You could these are iPhone photos, by the way. If I don't, yeah, you can see this iCloud. But hey, what's up, Mike? Thanks for dropping by. So yeah, so you could just see what a cool spot this is. But I was doing, you know, I have the iPhone 12 Pro, and it does that long, basically night sight long exposures, and you could take some pretty decent photos by messing around with that. But again, I didn't bring my DSLR because, or it's not DSLR anymore, my mirrorless, my Canon, because it was, I thought we were just going to be getting caught in the rain, and I'm like, well, why risk it? Erin didn't come. She drove to the restaurant, had lunch, breakfast, whatever you want to call it, with us, and then drove back, which is she wasn't in too much pain to ride, but you know, she was more. If it wasn't gonna rain, I bet she probably would have rode with us. But also, she wanted to decompress a little bit from everything that happened, you know. So, yeah, yeah, it's, yeah, this little cutout, and you can see where they kind of drilled the holes. But yeah, it's Otis and Zach just hanging out in there. But again, this is almost pitch black. So the fact that you could see them, you know, if you blow this photo up, it doesn't hold up. But it is pretty cool technology they put in the iPhones now with those like kind of long exposures. Even this one, this it's not like putting anything on a tripod, but it's doing a pretty dang good job of getting a photo where there's no light. Yeah, that's one of my favorite shots. Rick, I appreciate your comment on. I posted this one to Instagram, and he said that's one of the greatest photos. But that Zach's bike is surly. Can I make this play the live photo? Oh yeah, looks like I can. Oh nice. Oh, this is just my headlight pointing up. It was so misty because of the rain and everything. It looked really cool. Um, oh, Rusty said that. Yeah, Erin's had that on her Google. She has a Google phone, but Apple rips everything off, right? You know, they always that's exactly what they do. They wait till they watch what everybody else does, and then they try to improve upon it or find a way to rip you off more for it. My iPhone is the only thing that uh, I have made by them, but yeah, this is just my light posting shining up to show like how misty it was in there. But and then this, I'm using my bike headlight to light them for a shot like that. But yeah, the entrance, I just such a cool tunnel, right? The Dick Bias tunnel. Yeah, it was a midnight special, Rusty. That's the blue midnight special. Yeah, and this like these little puddles over here at the side, you could actually see there were the egg sacs that some of the tadpoles hadn't hatched in, and I'd never seen them like that, and they were clear, and you could see the little guys in there. But then there were different stages of tadpoles swimming around. Yeah, they're checking that out there. I think I took some GoPro footage, but I didn't get any photos of it. I just thought this picture of the wall was cool. Oh, these are the ones I edited for Instagram. Oh yeah. And so, yeah, we got back to the fire. Yeah, it's the Dick Bias Tunnel, Rick. So, BIAS. Trust, plenty of jokes were made. So yeah, we got back and the sun came out. So it's one of those things too where you're like, you can't be mad about turning around when it looked like it was just going to get horrible and be horrible. Like, it is what it is. Part of me wishes we rode farther. We were also all really tired and we still had a great day. We still got over 20 miles on the bikes and then all sat around. And this is just like we laugh like the entire time. It's just a great group of people and we just had a blast. So even though we ended up just sitting around and being chill and having beers, we had a Bluetooth speaker. We were taking turns picking songs and listening to music. I'm really bummed that in a way that I didn't get to see the rest of the trail, but it's also a reason to go back. This is LarrgeMarge kept pointing things out to Funny Brad with his bare feet. There's Otis chilling. The bike's loaded up, totally dirty from kind of riding in the wet the last day. Ben's Gorilla Monsoon, my Tamland, and Erin's Bombora. So Erin bought this rack. It's what's the name of that company? I don't know. It's a 3-bike rack. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty handy. It's one of those hitch mount ones. So yeah, it's worked out great. This was, I think, the first true trip we took it on, I think. I feel like we loaded it on there for something before, but yeah. Oh, and that's what Kenny's saying. Yeah, so when we go back again, we'll definitely do the other directions first so we get to see it. And the other direction, and of course we haven't been farther, so I don't know, but looked a little like prettier. There were supposed to be 6 tunnels going the other direction. We were kind of closer to the creek. It was just a little, I think it was a little prettier. But Erin dropped the name of the bike rack in there. So it's a 3-bike rack, but they make an extension so you could turn it into a 4. But we felt really comfortable. Like the bikes were really, really stable on there. Like when we always use my rear mount rack that we put on it. Who makes that? It's a Saris. Saris. But me and Erin would always be like looking back at the like nonstop. Anytime you hit a bump, we're always looking out the back. We started to actually, if we could, put the bikes in the back of our cars. Like my Matrix even can hold 2 bikes, and then just put blankets down between them, just to have more security. So this was really nice to have 3 bikes on a rack and not really worry about them at all. So highly recommended on my front. I think the other 2 felt exactly the same. So we stopped in Marietta then, which is not that far, for our lunch. A place called the Galley. I think Marietta is really cool. The rain stopped long enough for us to take a walk around the downtown area. So yeah. Oh, Lanky, yeah, Lanky has a good. What's up, Lanky? By the way, has a good video reviewing the bike rack he has, which I was really interested. So, Grand Subject was asking about the. That's actually a Brooks branded saddle cover. Brooks sells them. Erin bought them for our bikes. I don't know how. I don't think they're very expensive though. The night that my bike sat out in the rain all night, the night when we camped and it rained all night long, the saddle was damp in the morning. So it's not a completely waterproof. It's like, it's like bag material for your bike. You know, if it gets poured on, it will get damp eventually. Here, I actually have a plastic Ziploc freezer bag underneath it for the drive back to give it some extra protection. But yeah, definitely to me, having a Brooks saddle and just carrying one of these covers is totally worthwhile. We've talked about like some people are anti leather saddles because just the upkeep and worrying about them. But like I said, this is what we did, and mine still looks fine today. I have it down now. The bike's down in the basement with all my camping stuff is all set up, and I have a fan drying everything out. So yeah, and then I'll reproofide the saddle once it's completely dry. So Dylan says Marietta has an extensive network of mountain bike trails that are entirely in the city. Huh. I'll, I didn't even know about that, I don't think. Last time we went, I went down, me and Erin went down there, had an Airbnb, and I really just wanted to explore the city because the history of it. It's the oldest city in the Northwest Territory, oldest city in Ohio. Um, it's built on top of ancient Indian mounds, just kind of an interesting place. So, when, yeah, Aaron said those covers are less than $20. Funny Brad too bought one that wasn't made by Brooks at that bike shop we were at on Aaron's first 100-mile ride because it looked like it was about to rain. So he grabbed one from someone. Other people make them too, um, that are made for the specific different Brooks models. So yeah, obviously totally worth having it. I used to always just tuck a grocery store bag up underneath the saddle rails before I had one, but yeah, this place, yeah, the galley was a cool spot. Had good lunch there. They had a good beer selection, an average waitress, but Dylan said the mountain bike trails in Marietta are definitely gravel bike territory. Huge elevation, technical stuff. Huh, nice. Then Budgie asked if Funny Brad bought a saddle cover for the lizard. So yeah, we were like I was saying at the beginning, talking traveling through about the Greenbrier Trail. That's what Kenny was saying we should do the next time we go down that way. But I do want to go and ride the rest of this trail, see the other part of it. You know, I know LarrgeMarge has a friend or I don't know, an internet friend that has made a loop that is the trail one way, but then like roads to make a loop, which could be cool way to explore it, or maybe really do try and park at one end, like in Parkersburg, ride out, camp somewhere, ride back. But yeah, at some point, I would like to see the rest of it. I do want to see the other tunnels. So, out traveling through asked if you missed the lizard tattoo shot. Well, not technically. I'll show you the. It's so large. Marge was being I think as who said it, Rick or Summit or someone said, or Dylan actually, yeah, being a true friend. So Large didn't give away the tattoo. So we were also talking about again what Brad should get it covered up with, and the funny thing we always say is not actually covering up the yin yang, but just changing the animal. So instead of a lizard with a yin yang head, it would be a shark like with a yin yang head. So Rick was saying regarding the shortened mileage, he would he'd trade good company for good miles any day, and that's the same thing we were all saying. It's like exactly we had a blast. We had a great time together. Like there was no like besides Aaron's accident, which I obviously devoted a lot of time to because it was such a crazy part of the story. Um, it was all good, you know, and yeah. And who knows, because there were parts of the trail on the way back that looked way wetter than the rain we were in. So if we had kept going, maybe we would have been, you know, soaked in a thunderstorm and not been close enough to a trail or anything like that. So a shark with a yin yang on its head. Well, if you don't know, Rusty, Brad's tattoo is a lizard with a yin yang for a head. So Oh, another thing. On the way down, there was this big billboard, and it said, I don't know what it was for, someone could type it in now, but badlizard.com. And Erin's driving her car, and she looks up and she says, I didn't know Brad's Tattoo had a website, which was one of the best jokes of the trip. And there were a lot of good jokes, but that was up there. Large Marge should have censored his depend instead of the lizard. I was trying to think if there, yeah, that would, yeah, it in a nutshell, but a great weekend away. Yeah. Oh, you're quoting Dr. Evil. I got you, Rusty. There's no tone here. So, yeah. Laser with lasers. Yeah. That's 10 o'clock already. Well, yeah, let's do. I could use the piddle break. If Malk, you're still around. I got in today at like 4:30. I worked on the. Dylan, love your work, Aaron. I did the photos from that my actual gig. Answered all my emails. I had all the rent checks to cash and all that kind of stuff. So I just did not get to update the members video. So, Malk, I appreciate you joining as a member. You'll be listed in the members video on Thursday. The other thing I want to say, if anyone is in here who's become a member more recently, if you're in the Discord, link it to YouTube. There's member sections there. And also, I have, if you didn't get a sticker and you're newer, I've got stickers with the logo that Pixel Wolf drew. And I'll send one out to you. So DM me on Discord or on Instagram if you haven't got one, and I'll get that out to you. So I know there's, I think, JB5, JMZ, a couple people that weren't part of that initial round. So, Malk, yeah. But yeah, send me your address so I could somewhere private so I could send that out to you. But to say thanks. But yeah, let's gonna take a leak. Be right back. If I can find the button. We are going to take a quick break here. Let's first thank the members, though. They really do help make this channel better in every way. If you want to add your name to this list, there is a link in the chat right now and also below this video. It is really appreciated. Like I said, it will help make the channel better in every way, but you also do get some special perks. There are extra videos, more content, discount on swag, and a few other things. Check out the link if you're interested. We do appreciate any support here, though, so if you're just tuning in to watch for a little while, hit the like button. They say it helps out. But yeah, any kind of support, whether you've ever, bought a piece of swag, done a super chat, but even just watching is good enough. I appreciate it. I really have fun doing this, so I'm glad we have a little community here. Also, take this chance again to say join us in the Discord. That's become a really cool thing, too. We'll be back in about a minute, but one more time, thanks to the members. Oh, hey. I see Rusty posted what he's sipping on. A Tombstone Brewing Company Brighter and Juicier number 4. That looks delicious, nice and hazy. And then JMZ has a Long Trail Juiced hazy IPA. I do need to. I think it was JMZ saying that he booked a hotel to come and meet us for the group ride on June 13. June 13th. June 13. Check that out if you haven't. I think one of the plans for one of the streams next week is to dive a little deeper into finally talking about all the details for the meetup that go a little farther. Like I said, I just number of things going on: the taxes, then this trip, a couple busy weeks. But yeah, one thing I want to do is probably with LarrgeMarge and Erin, if she's up for it, go and pre-ride it. So then we'll also have the route for Strava. We can export it to everything else and stuff like that. Also, I wanted to check out if there's a couple roads that we've ridden in the past to get the way we're going. And I want to try and find some better routes for that and just how to work everything together the best, and then get everyone the mileage. So everyone who's interested in coming, so we have the mileage and the elevation to let everyone know if they feel like it's something they would want to do. So yeah, get that going. Like I said, on Thursday, I'd like to get back into the what everyone has posted and been chatting about since I've been gone, because there's some interesting topics and some cool photos, but I just didn't have the time to pay enough attention tonight. Erin did Molnar drop a link to that place we camped in the Discord, but let's see if I could drop that link just in case anyone's interested. Whoops. Yeah, so this is where we stayed that first night outside of Dundee. Rick said he's filing a tax extension, so if he doesn't survive the group ride, he won't have to pay them. But oh, Rick doesn't like it. That first campsite, the interesting thing is, well, I could show it over here. Like the road to go back down their property, as you could see, this kind of like little like highlight thing is what they're trying to show. It's just grass pretty much, just mowed a little more. And when I was on my bike, I'm like, that's where I'm supposed to be going? So Malk said, anyone riding the 300K rando in Columbus this Saturday? Huh, I'm not familiar with that. Let's see if we could look it up. Ohio rando cycling. All control points for our 300K route have been selected by volunteers. Rick said he won't stay in a place called Winking Forest. Huh, I'm surprised that, like, Pudgy said he hadn't heard anything about this, and I'm surprised that none of us out of this group, because I haven't either. $300K. What is 300K? That's 160 miles. Is that right? I'm not sure I'm finding what this is. Like, I just typed it in that way. $180 miles? Wow. Yeah. Wow. Metric wimps. Hey, I live in Murica. We don't metric. Tell you, they don't metric in West Virginia either. So we got a couple votes of 180-ish, 183, 187, 186. Is that in feet or inches? Yeah, 100 would be 62. Yeah, because 10K, 6.2 miles. Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like the 187.5 is on the nose, right, for the mileage. So it's a randoneering racing, so I'm guessing people do it straight through, huh? Maybe sleep, maybe nap on the side of the road. Malk, what's the name of the organization that puts this on, or the actual official name of this event? I would love to just see it. I'm not going to be able to pull it off at this last minute, but I'd love to be aware of anything else they plan for. A ride with GPS ride came up when I just typed that in, but only softies sleep. Yeah. Let's see, is this what we're looking at? It won't let you post a link. Oh, does this not let people post links on? Because anytime I ever ask anyone to post a link, no one ever does, and I wonder if that's a YouTube live chat thing that I never knew about. I'll look into that for the next stream to see if I'm able to change that so people could post links. But yeah, yeah, that sucks. And well, speaking of that, I will. Since we were also talking about traveling through earlier, this is his channel. If you're interested in seeing his tour, and his latest video, like I said, gets into West Virginia. So yeah, he's touring across the country right now. So check that out. Huh. But when Ben typed something in it, LarrgeMarge, it let it go up. So, huh, interesting. Ohio, where was that? Here we go. Of course you did, Rick. Events, there we go. 2021 scheduled. Yeah, oh, so that was the right route there, huh? Whoops, that's not what I meant to click. So do people get together for these? How does this work? Registration. They do a 400 and a 600 also, huh? I'll scroll to the bottom. Probably at the last one. I should probably read this on my own time. We could talk about it on Thursday, but this, yeah, this is interesting. I did not know anything about this. Oh, so the rules to make it actually like official. Hmm, that's really cool. I need to bookmark this page. Nice. Yeah, we'll check that out. I gotta be honest, even though we still have a good crowd in here, I can barely keep my eyes open. I am tired. 3 nights, you know, we had that nice lean-to the first night. The second night, all in the rain, and then last night's sleep was a pretty drunk sleep, even though I slept pretty well. I had a lot of beers. So I think I'm going to keep this one short. I know I had mentioned that in the Discord. So, but yeah, like I said, get back to it a little more normal on Thursday and checking out what everybody has been up to as well. But yeah, I just don't think I have a lot left in me. I am exhausted. So yeah, I will see you guys on Thursday. I do have, obviously shot a ton of footage from the weekend. I hope to get that maybe posted Thursday morning, but I've obviously got to catch up on work for all day tomorrow, and then I have shoots on Thursday and Friday as well. So yeah, see how it goes. But counting lizards until I sleep. Yeah, traveling through. I'm excited to see your next few videos, and stay safe. Have fun out there. And I will see you guys at the latest on Thursday at 9 o'clock. So, yeah. Peace.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is not understanding.
Fitzwater photo.